Hello, welcome back to Sunday School. Um, this is going to be an important one. Actually, they're all important, but there is stuff I really want to say today, so I hope you're listening. We're going to talk about what it means to be real. Do you know how some people pretend that they're one thing and then they aren't really? Sometimes your parents get fooled and they say, oh, so and so is such a sweet kid. And you know that when there's an adult not around, that this kid is just not as sweet as they think. Um, so it's kind of what we want to talk about. We want to be talking about um, being real with God and being a real Christian. Because not everyone who says they are a Christian is a Christian. And we talked before about what that means. Not everyone who says that they love Jesus loves Jesus. And maybe they even think that they really do, but they don't act like it. Your proof is how you act. You know your mommy loves you. Even if she never said it, you know that she loves you because of how she treats you and how she smiles at you and how she is so excited when you come home and she hugs you and she wants to spend time with you. You're important to her and you know that. Even if she never said it, you know because of what she does. But some people, like I said, some people say that they're a Christian and they are not, or at least they don't act like it. I wonder how much it breaks God's heart to watch people act that way. I think not only does it hurt his feelings, but he sees what it does. Because other people say, oh, they say that they are a Christian and they lie and they steal and they swear and they're not very nice. And so if that's what a Christian is like, I don't want to be like that. We talked about that before. Now, Matthew, I'm going to read to you in Matthew 7. I think my page flipped. I had it already. Matthew 7, 21 to 23. And he says, he's talking about when you get to heaven. And this is Jesus talking. And he says, not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will get to go to heaven. But the ones who love him are going to be the one who get to go to heaven. And many will say to me on that day, Lord, Lord, I did all these things, saying that it was for you. But Jesus said, I will tell you, I never knew you, so go away from me. He means you weren't my friend. You weren't my friend now, and now you say that you're my friend because you want to get in heaven. So he's talking about those people who say, oh, I'm a Christian and I'm doing all these things because I'm a Christian, but they haven't actually ever made friends with Jesus. And Jesus said, you got to be real. You need to be real. I'm going to tell you a story. It's not a Bible story. It's just a story I'm going to make up. And it's about 3 kids. And there is Bob and Mary and we'll call them Fred. Now, they were just 3 kids and Bob and Mary were really good friends. They lived close by each other and they did lots of stuff together. And Bob always said, I am Mary's best friend. And he always talked about Mary is my best friend. And then there was another kid and he was Fred. And he never said that he was Mary's best friend. He didn't say much about anything at all. They didn't hang out very much. They knew who each other were. They didn't hate each other. They just were not really, they didn't call each other best friends. When the teacher said, pick a partner, Bob and Mary didn't ever pick Fred. They always picked each other because they were best friends. Now there came a time, a day, and they were playing outside. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about how they act, and I'm going to give you an example of one day. So they were outside playing around at school, and Mary fell down, and she scraped her knee, and it was bleeding. And the way that she did it, she did a big flip off the monkey bars and whatever. And Bob just thought that was funny, and he laughed and was saying, "Oh, I wish I would have got that on a video so I could show people." And Fred saw what happened, and he went over and he helped Mary up, and he got a teacher to help her to clean up her cut and fix it up and stuff. Now later that day, they were in school, and it was lunchtime, and they went to go get their lunch, and Mary realized she forgot hers at home. She didn't have lunch. And Bob put his arm around her and said, "Oh, that's too bad. You're going to be hungry by after school." And Fred didn't say anything. He just went over and he put half his sandwich on Mary's desk and went back to sit at his own desk. Now later that day, there was going to be a pool party. The pool was opening up, and it was going to be so exciting. There was going to be a big barbecue, and they were talking after school. Lots of kids were talking about whether they were going to go or not. And Mary said that she was going to go, but she had some stuff to do at home. Actually, she had to clean up after her dog out in the yard, and she wasn't allowed to go until she had done her chores. And she had some other things to do. She needed to help Daddy wash his car and stuff like that. But she was going to go, but she had to do all her work first. And so they talked about that, and away they went. So Bob got ready, and he went to the pool, and he was having fun and whatever. And Mary was busy. She was working. She cleaned up in the yard, and she started washing her daddy's car. And when she came around the corner, the hose was already going, and she looked, and there was Fred. And he was already starting to wash her daddy's car. And she said, "What are you doing, Fred?" And he said, "Well, I didn't want you to miss out on the party, because it's going to be so much fun, and it's going to take you such a long time. But if I help you, then you'll get to go that much sooner." And that was so nice of him. So he missed out on some of the party so that he could help her out so that she wouldn't miss as much. So I want to ask you, which one was really a friend to Mary? Was it Bob, who said he was her best friend? Or was it Fred, who never really said that was his best friend, but he always just was looking out for her? Yeah, Fred acted more like a real friend. And which kid was just words? Yeah, it was Bob. He said, "I'm your best friend," but he laughed at her when she fell. He didn't share his lunch. He didn't care that she was missing part of the party. He just was worried about, he didn't want to miss his fun for her. So I want you to think about that. We're going to read a story that's kind of like that, and it's also in Matthew. And I'm going to go to Matthew 21, 28 to 32. So Matthew 21, where does it start? 28 to 32. Oops, I was at the wrong spot. Okay, so this is Jesus talking again. And it says, "There was a man who had 2 sons. He went to the first and said, 'Son, will you go work today in the vineyard?'" The vineyard is, I don't know if you know, it's like a garden that just grows the grapes. So we'll call it a garden. "Son, go and work today in the garden." "I will not," he answered. He said no. But later he changed his mind and he went. And then the father went to the other son and said the same thing. He wanted him to go and work in the garden. And he answered, "Oh, I will, sir, I will." but he didn't go. Which one of the two did what his father wanted? Yeah. One was just words. Oh, yeah, I'll do it because I love you, Daddy, and I will do anything for you. But he didn't. And the other one said, I don't want to work. But because he loved his dad, he went out there. And Jesus said to them, I tell you the truth. The ones who do the wrong things are going to come into the kingdom of God ahead of you. Because they love me more. The ones who love me and still are making mistakes are, oh my goodness. We need to edit out that whole piece, Joan. Okay, we'll just skip that whole bit. Okay, so which one of those kids spoke his love? And which one proved his love for his father? I know you already know the answer to those questions. So it's not about that we say we love him. It's about what's in our heart, that we actually love him. And I know that some of you are thinking, well, I don't need Jesus right now. I'm going to wait until I'm old, and I don't need him until I die, and I'm going to live to be 90. Well, first of all, you do need him now. I think if you watched enough of these videos or listened to Pastor Dave or your mom and dad tell you, you would know that. But I do hope that you live to be 90 or more. Just think how many lives, if you're about 10 years old, how many lives can you help to change in 80 years? Oh my goodness. Instead of wasting all that time, and not being Jesus' friend until the end, you could be working on his team. You could be partners with him. And he's going to bless your socks off. Plus, you get to do amazing things. Just think, how many people would that be in 80 years? I'm going to give you an idea. Because you know how people get the flu. Have you ever had the flu? And you feel horrible and you start puking or have a fever or whatever. Anyway, you get really sick, and next thing you know, your brothers and your sisters get it, and because your mom has been taking care of you, she gets it, and you went to school before you really knew you had it, and so your friends have it, and then their families get sick. You know how it goes, right? If there's, in the wintertime, usually there is a flu and everybody gets it, and everybody's sick. Now, that really spreads, right? Now think if you had the flu for 80 years, non-stop, had the flu, at least you had the germs. Maybe you weren't sick, but if you carried flu germs for 80 years, imagine how many bazillion people in that 80 years you would make sick. Can you imagine? Is that a lot? That's a lot. Okay, now I want you to change it. Instead of having flu germs, if you had the Spirit of God, if you had faith that just was contagious, that you just showed people how much God loved them, and it spread as fast as the flu, you would touch that many people. Remember how I said it was the flu and you imagined all those bazillion? Now we're talking about the love of God, and it's that same bazillion people. Amazing, amazing, amazing. The biggest difference there, though, is that people don't choose to get the flu or not, but they have to choose if they love God. So that brings the numbers down a little bit, but the opportunities are still there. So I'm asking you, are you and Jesus friends? Or is it just talk? Are you the brother that says, yeah, I'm going to do this, and then don't? Are you the one who says that you're a Christian, but you lie and you gossip or you swear or you steal or you be mean? I hope not. We need to figure it out. Figure it out which one you are. And that's between you and God. God knows your heart. And if it needs to change, then you need to change that. You can ask your parents to help you. But you need to be accountable. God says we get to pick who we are. But we also pick our consequences too. It is an awesome thing to be Jesus' friend. And I hope you are. And if you're not, I hope you choose to be. It's the best decision that you can make. Now we're going to do a craft. Kind of along those lines. Sometimes you have a necklace and it says BFF or whatever. We can wear something that reminds us who our best friend is, and to let other people know. Now I'm going to take some plastic. I did these ones, but they did not work out so good because I used the wrong kind of plastic. And I don't know if you can see this. Maybe I'll put this paper behind it. Can you see that? This one is a cross and it says BFF on it. And this one is a heart. And it says JC, which is Jesus Christ, and WM, which is my initials. And it's put in a heart with an arrow. Now they're kind of big. So what we're going to do is, this is called shrink art. Now you can buy shrink art at a craft store, but it costs lots of money. And we have what we need, usually hanging around the house. So this is a lid from Chinese food that we had for takeout. And this one is a lid for takeout from the grocery store. So what we're going to do, it needs to be hard plastic. Now, if you're not sure, you can test it out and try it out. These things are going to shrink. So you want to make them way bigger than what they are. I don't know if you can see this tiny, tiny little guy. This is a little happy face. And I made it from the center of this. See how much difference there is in the size? So it's going to shrink down to at least half the size. So you can get a coloring book, or you can just draw a picture, because you're going to be able to see through it, right? So if you put a coloring book underneath of here, you can just trace. And I'm going to kind of cheat here. And I'm going to try one of these ones that didn't work. And I'm going to put it underneath my lid. And I am going to trace it. I'm going to do the heart one. Everybody does a cross. Lots of people have a cross necklace already. And then I'm going to put my initials in it. And Jesus' initials in it. So I'm going to trace that. So we just trace our picture. And we have to use permanent markers like Sharpies. Okay? If you use anything else, it's just going to disappear. So make sure you use a Sharpie or a permanent marker of some kind. So we can just trace the outside of all the picture part. This is kind of a rough deal here. Okay, I've got it traced. Oops, I missed a line. There we go. And now I'm going to color it. So I'm going to color the heart red. I like to color. You like to color? There we go. Coloring it all red. You can take your time and color it really solid. I'm not going to, because this video would be really, really, really long. Now, while I'm working here, I'm going to tell you something. This is going to be the last video for the summer, because there's lots of things starting up, and the pool is opening, and there's things to do. And so, But I don't want you to just think, well, there's no church and no way to learn and stuff over the summer, because there is. You can always go back through and watch the ones that you missed, or just the ones you liked, or maybe just watch them all the way through again, just because you might have missed something. Maybe at that time you didn't realize what I was talking about and now you need it. So you can do that. You can also go on YouTube and find songs, and you don't have to play them one at a time. Some of them, sometimes it says an hour of kids worship or whatever, and it plays all your favorite Sunday school songs for a whole hour without stopping. That's kind of awesome. I like to do that. Okay, so I have colored my heart. I've colored my arrow. And now I'm just coloring in my initials. Okay. Now we're going to take the scissors and we're going to cut it out. It's going to be loud. It's easier if you cut out a big shape first. Yeah, isn't that loud? Because all the corners are rattling. It'll be quieter once I cut that out. Okay, I'm going to move this out of the way. And now I'm going to cut it out close to the lines. As close as I can get. It doesn't have to be perfect. None of the crafts I do pretty much need to be perfect. It's about fun. Okay. And around, and around. Now, while I was doing this, I had my oven on to 325 degrees. Okay, so you're going to need your parents' help with that. I am almost done. Okay, so I cut that out. Can you see it? Now, I'm taking a cookie sheet or a cake pan, something nice and flat, and I'm going to take this and put it on parchment paper and just lay it on here. And I'm going to set it in the oven. Now, when that happens, it is going to twist and curl, and you're going to watch it. If you can see, it's really cool in a toaster oven because it's easier to see. But if you can see in your oven door, you're going to think it's not working, because it's going to look almost like it's dancing and it's going to curl up in a ball and everything. But if you just leave it and wait, be patient, it'll flatten out again. And it's going to get smaller and it's going to get thicker. Oh my goodness, I almost forgot to do something important. Okay, I don't have a hole punch. This is a hole punch, but you probably have a different kind of one. And we're going to put a hole in the top, because the hole in the top is where we can put a chain or a jump ring or something like that. Okay, so remember to put a hole in the top, and you need to use like a hole punch, a 1/4 inch hole punch. If you make just a tiny hole, when it shrinks, the hole will be too small to put anything through. Okay, so we're gonna do this, and I am gonna pause the video and I'm gonna go upstairs and cook it, and then I'll be back. Okay, I am back, and this is what it looks like. I put it on a string so that you could see it. Maybe I need something white on the background. Can you see that now? So it's very hard and it's thick, and it's just, I could wear it on my necklace. I could hook it onto my zipper. I could do whatever I wanted with it. Now you can make lots of these. You can give them out to your friends. You can make them all kinds of different shapes. Do any pictures you want. But I'm hoping that you do one that reminds you that you and Jesus are best friends. So that is called shrink art. And I hope you have lots of fun. And it's a great way to use up recycling. Look at how much it shrunk. Can you see those two different ones? It shrunk a lot. So that is our craft. That is our message. I'm leaving you with a song that I absolutely love. Don't forget to rewatch these things. Have a wonderful summer. And remember who you are and whose you are. I love you. Bye-bye.
You're watching Lifetree Kids.
You can trust God. You can take Him at His word and give Him your heart. You can trust God. It doesn't matter who you are. You can trust God. You don't have to be the fastest, strongest. You don't have to hold your breath